Hi there. Kent Brindley, South Haven local, vintage animation nerd, world's okayest uncle. hmm And, of course, the author. This is Ask the Author Friday. Date of, I think it's May 15th. Date of May 15th. Ask the Author Friday is my weekly opportunity to have a nice little fireside chat with everybody. If you all have any questions for future weeks, feel free to hit the comments down below. If you enjoy this or any of my other content, feel free to subscribe. Here we go. Alright, we need to address the elephant in the room. We need to address the elephant in the room. Why are you so tired? If I'm not working one or two jobs, I'm stressing about having not heard about the third job, the summer job, or I'm stressing about the fourth job that's coming in hot. Or it's the fact that when I'm not at work, I will not lay down and take a nap because I'm gallivanting around town seeing friends. Or it's possibly the fact that I know lately my alarm is going to go off at 5 a.m., but I will not go to bed before midnight. Fancy that. So many questions, so little time. So many answers, so little time. Excuse me. Maybe if I didn't have the sleep cycle of my 7-week-old nephew and the constant need to not only be awake, but wonder why people are not awake around me at all hours. Huh. Let's talk about family. There's the bloodline, then there's the idea of family. Family are the people you can trust, the people who will always come to bat for you because you are ready to go to battle for them anytime. Now, when you are blatantly in the wrong, family can always correct you. They can correct you, they can guide you to do better, but it takes a lot for family to leave your corner. They will always stay in your corner. What does family look like in your writing? What does family look like in your novels? I usually use the concept of family in general fiction, and it's like I just said. The bloodline is one thing. The sense of family is a sense of loyalty. Do you use the conversations of others to make good dialogue? Eavesdropping is difficult when I can barely hear. And even then, most of my friends work in the taverns, so that is where I traditionally am with a lot of background noise. And even then, if I pick up on the nuances of a conversation worth putting into print because it just sticks with you, it's usually one or two loudmouths controlling the room, making sure they're the only people not only at the table but in the entire room who can be heard. Out of respect for those types of conversations, I will generally try to fictionalize as much of it as I can. Or be vague. Do you put your own conversations with others into your writing? If they're worthwhile, if they're interesting enough. Again, there are the conversations I have with others, and that is a sacred trust. I'll do what I can to, I will always try to fictionalize it or change the context as much as I can. Okay. What does spring mean to you? Growing up, spring was what happened before summer, before I could enjoy summer. Now, spring is what happens before summer happens, before I can enjoy fall. Describe spring. It's generally very damp and very cold. And a lot of allergens in the air now. Not a fan. What does spring look like in fiction? What does spring look like in my writing? In my general fiction, if I address the seasons at all, spring is just spring. And for instance, in the manuscript for Tavern Boy, or in what was it called? Or in The Art of Belonging and Blending In, I break this up by months, not seasons. If you know what month it is, you know what season it is. What would spring look like in your science fiction or fantasy? In another world, on another planet for sci-fi, or in another realm for fantasy. I guess spring would always just look like spring. Well, we'll cross that bridge when I feel like inserting spring into a parallel planet. Or into medieval times, for that matter. Thoughts on the NBA? I will always prefer college sports over the pros, and the NBA is the worst of all. I haven't even been following even the Pistons until now that they're in the playoffs. I know they were the number one seed in the conference. I know this is huge for them because it has been a long time since they've had that successful of a season. But they are piggybacking off of the national championship Wolverines, who I actually actively root for and actively watch. So as long as Detroit's still in it, I will follow the playoffs. A favorite video game franchise. Probably the WWE 2K games, honestly, now that I'm create a character, well, create a wrestler, whatever. The creation suite. Create a wrestler, create an arena, create a championship, create entrance, victory, motion, moveset. Throw them into universe mode. My faction mode need not be spoken of again. Island mode need not be addressed ever again. A video game franchise that you feel deserves revamped. If they could remaster at least Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for NY, maybe even Icon for the PS5, and get the licenses for those rappers' likenesses again, and get the licenses for the music all over again, I'd play that. I'd play that on PS5's graphics. I still have the PlayStation 2 for Vendetta and Fight for NY. Alright. We're not done speaking of this yet. Video game you enjoyed way too much in your childhood. There's Super Mario Bros. 3, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Super Mario World. Or there is a game that I enjoyed way too much for what it was. For what it honestly was, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, or Bucky O'Hare were mediocre, subpar video games at best. Bucky O'Hare in particular borrowed a lot from Mega Man, yet I played them all of the time. Alright, let's keep this going. Video games you're looking forward to. He-Man Dragon Age of Destruction. Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Wow. I must be exhausted. He-Man Dragon Pearl of Destruction. Just Masters of the Universe in the vintage 80s animation style. The same thing they did with the Ninja Turtles. And in the side-scroller beat-em-up type. Same thing they did with G.I. Joe Revenge of Cobra. Same thing they did. Okay. G.I. Joe Revenge of Cobra was a mini-series, otherwise known as The Weather Dominator. G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra was a video game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I swear to God, there was a Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. Exact same concept. The vintage animation style and side-scroller beat 'em up, just with He-Man. I'm looking forward. Plus the teasing of another Power Rangers game that I think is just concept right now. Underground World War, which is supposed to be the the next level for the Def Jam fighting genre, because to be honest, remastering Def Jam Vendetta and Fight for NY is a fever dream, not only because you have to use the music again, but the artist's licenses again. A video game that you would make. Well, wow. A video game that you would make if you could. I've been thinking about a Masters of the Universe game in the style of Soul Calibur until it was Limited Run Games, which can actually make video games and is making the side scroller beat 'em up. I still think Thundercats, for example, would fit a Soul Calibur sword and sorcery weapons clashing style game. Let alone a side scroller for who are the Silverhawks? Yeah, I could see a side scroller for Silverhawks, and it's probably because I've already seen teaser images up on social media of people just tinkering around making teaser images for a Silverhawks game. Yeah, I'd look forward to that. Best movies of 2020. Oh God. Best movies of 2026 so far. I had this conversation with somebody last evening, and there are not a lot of good movies in 2026. My favorites so far are probably Michael, Super Mario Galaxy, and what was it? Song Sung Blue. And I had to really think about it if Song Sung Blue came out in 2026 or at the end of 2025. Movies you are looking forward to. Masters of the Universe, of course. Um, Scary movie. I'm ready for another scary movie. Wayans Brothers scary movie franchise. You know what that meant. The Wayans Brothers scary movie franchise. Um, are they or are they not actually going to make another Meet the Parents? This time with Fokker's son bringing home his girlfriend. Because I've seen a trailer or two, but they're either AI or I just really haven't seen them on TV, but online. Yeah, I'd watch another Meet the Parents. Maybe this one will measure up to the first one. An 80s franchise you really want to see made into a movie. Thundercats, if it's done right. If you can pay homage to and respect to the source material and make it look watchable, I'd pick Thundercats. Silverhawks, you basically have to make it AI. or animated for that matter. CGI. Not AI, CGI. Okay. It's 11 o'clock the night before as I'm recording this. You'll have to excuse me. He's been promising us a Mask movie since before the shutdown happened. Yeah. So many film franchises, so many animation franchises that if the property is treated with respect, deserve to see the silver screen. Which 80s animation franchise do you see as most likely to become a movie next? We're going to have to steer away from Thundercats or Silverhawks or even Brave Star or the Centurions for how great Brave Star or Thundercats would be to see on the big screen. I see COPS, Central Organization of Police Specialists, being at least plausible for Hollywood to make a movie out of fairly easily. I mean, they're cops and crooks. Just treat the franchise properly, and away we go. Cops and Crooks, that was a Hasbro. Wait a minute. It was a Hasbro toy line, and they refused to quit trying with Transformers and G.I. Joe. It could take some work for the transforming vehicles, but hey, again, they tried to do Transformers, but I could see Hollywood trying to make Mask into a film production. Especially since that rumor has been out there since at least 2019, if not 18. You were granted the ability and the authority to script the next animated series movie remake. Masters of the Universe is already going to be a thing. Give me a chance to pen the script for She-Ra and include He-Man. Cut me loose to turn Thundercats fan fiction into a film script. Or Brave Star, for that matter. This has been Ask the Author Friday. If you have any questions for future weeks, feel free to hit the comment section. If you enjoyed this or any of my other content, feel free to subscribe. You all have a blessed weekend. Take care of yourselves.